The waterfall's chunking this maxed out Mewtwo. Luckily, we still have one Protect Shield to hide behind. The opponent fire off the single resisted Shadow Ball. That would have done 85% of our HP. The opponent has no Protect Shields remaining. We fire off the Crunch, but is Crunch enough to knock out? Well, you're going to have to watch the video to find out. So welcome back to the channel. Today is a double upload day. That's pretty rare for me. However, not as rare as seeing a Shundo Sharpedo in the Open Master League. That is correct. In the Master League. This thing isn't even maxed out. I think it's about level 46 or 47. Even if it was fully maxed out and best buddy, it would only reach 2,495 CP, which is ironically below the Ultra League limit. However, fellow content creator Yveltal, who's linked in the title, has decided to flex this in the Open Master League, and today we're going to see it in action. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. And in game one, we are Shadow Shiny Mewtwo into Ho-Oh. We fire off the Side Strike, force the Protect Shield. The opponent banks some energy, switch out into Zarude. The opponent shows no respect for the Ice Beam. They near get one shot. We then send out Haxarous. This is actually a complete shiny flex team. Haxarous tanks the Dark Pulse like an absolute boss, then commits to the counter farm down the opponent. Send out Zacian. Yveltal fires off the Surf. Surf goes unshielded. If the opponent attempts to quick attack farm us all the way down, which it looks like they're committing to, Haxarous still not done, fires off Surf. Number 2 and the opponent invests their final Protect Shield. The opponent finally managed to quick attack farm us down. We send out Mewtwo. Mewtwo going to be operating as the damage sponge. The opponent fires off the Wild Charge and it's Sharpedo time. In comes the Shark. The opponent probably thinking this has got to be a joke. Unfortunately for you, Mr. Opponent, this is no joke. Sharpedo now primed to sweep back out. Comes Ho-Oh. Yveltal invests his final Protect Shield on the Brave Bird. We make the Crunch. It's going to be high Ho-Oh, bye Ho-Oh. Crunch secures the knockout, back out. Comes Zacian, and 2 Waterfalls is going to be all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. In the next battle, leave Mewtwo into Groudon. Not a bad matchup for Mewtwo, especially with that Ice Beam coverage. Yveltal full sending the Ice Beam. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. They near get one shot. Yveltal can shield once, then commit to the Psycho Cut farm down. The opponent sends the Precipice Blades. We get the farm down. The opponent send out Kyogre. We see the pivot into Haxarous, drawing out BDD. Basic Bitch Dialga or Best Buddy Dialga. I'll let you decide. We fire off the Breaking Swipe. The opponent then look to throw the Iron Head. However, they play the CMP game. Not a game you want to play against Haxarous. Dialga does not win that CMP type Breaking Swipe. Forces the first Protect Shield. Haxarous most certainly has done its job, so Yveltal opts to let it go down. He can now send in Mewtwo. Dialga is energy dry, so Yveltal can overfarm massively. We farm up, fire off the Side Strike. Side Strike should be lethal. The opponent actually opts to shield. We then see Yveltal bank the Side Strike, pivot out into Sharpedo, and he is going to opt to shield the Iron Head. The opponent now send back out Kyogre. Yveltal's just got to get this Kyogre into a range where Side Strike will knock out. However, as we've got access to Poison Fang, with the lower defense, Side Strike definitely will be lethal, even if the opponent commit to the full Waterfall farm down, which they do. Mewtwo exited with a Charge Move. We win the Charge Move priority event. Side Strike secures the knockout. Can Dialga get the Dragon Breath farm down? It cannot. We reach the Side Strike, but the game lags, and unfortunately we take a heartbreaking loss. Moving on to the next battle, we see Mewtwo into Zacian. Yveltal fires 7 Psycho Cuts and the Side Strike for optimal fast move timing. 2-turn versus 3-turn, you always want to throw at 1, 4 or 7. The opponent farming up 1 bazillion energy, allowing Yveltal to fire off Side Strike number 2, and the opponent now all shields down. Yveltal looking very pleased with his 2-0 shield advantage. The opponent fires off the Play Rough. Mewtwo survives on a sliver of HP. We then see the pivot into Haxarous. We invest our first Protect Shield on the Play Rough. Yveltal now farming up, firing off the Surf. Surf won't be lethal, but should put Zacian in a range where he can get the resisted counter farm down. Yveltal is going to have to invest his final Protect Shield. He wants to keep Haxarous alive. We shield up the Play Rough. The opponent give us the full counter farm down. We've now got an unshielded Shark, and things could get very dire. However, the opponent send out a Waterfall Gyarados. Not a good matchup against Haxarous. We fire off the first Breaking Swipe. We then see Yveltal continues for a good fast move timing. Great to see someone throwing a very disciplined time in the second Breaking Swipe. Gets this Gyarados super low. The opponent then pivot out into Garchomp, and Garchomp's going to be met with the Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe lands for huge super effective damage. Haxarous makes Breaking Swipe number 2. Garchomp is straight in and straight out. The opponent send back out Gyarados. The opponent finally fire off a Charge Move. Crunch will be securing the knockout. The opponent actually go for the Aqua Tail. No trainer, not the play. We send out the Shark, and Sharpedo gets the resisted Waterfall farm down, and we take that game. In the next battle, we see Mewtwo into Garchomp. Does the opponent know about the Ice Beam? Because if they don't know, they're about to find out. We full send the Ice Beam, and apparently the opponent did know. They unfortunately shield. The opponent then fire off the Sand Tomb. We opt to no shield Mewtwo with a lower defense, still thick enough to make the Side Strike. Side Strike actually draws the final shield. We then see the pivot into Haxarous. Yveltal with a 2 to no shield advantage, refusing to shield up the Sand Tomb. Sand Tomb lands. We then fire up the Breaking Swipe. Unfortunately, Breaking Swipe isn't going to be lethal. These Dragon Tails are tearing us apart. The opponent tanks the Breaking Swipe, pivot out into Metagross. We fire off the Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe will be lowering Metagross's attack. However, it is resisting, doesn't do too much damage. It's now Shark time. Can Sharpedo close out this game? Yveltal finally invests the Protect Shield on the resisted Meteor Mash. However, let's not kid ourselves. Even though it's debuffed, it'd probably one-shot us, as Sharpedo won't be tanking any moves particularly well in the Open Master League. Yveltal shields the second Meteor Mash. Sharpedo gets the full Waterfall farm down. Back out comes Garchomp. We fire off the Crunch immediately, opting to get rid of Garchomp. What is that final Pokemon? It's Snorlax. The licks are resisted. Yveltal farms up, fires off the Poison Fang, looking to lower Snorlax's defense. Poison Fang pretty much does do nothing, but what a savage catch, Yveltal. You absolute mad lad. He catches the move on his low health Mewtwo. Sharpedo gets the next Poison Fang, and unfortunately we get taken out again at the charge move. Very well played regardless. Moving on to the next one. We see the Mewtwo mirror. We've got no Shadow Ball. However, we did build up to it, and Yveltal baits with a Side Strike, forcing an early Protect Shield. Yveltal respects a potential Shadow Ball from the opponent, and the opponent full sends. Good shield from Yveltal. This time we farm up, and again we're masturbating. Is Yveltal the best masturbator the world has ever seen? Yes, he is. He forces both Protect Shields with 2 baits this time. He's just going to take shield advantage. But the opponent baits us. Holy crap, what a call. Yveltal now farms up, fires the Ice Beam on a CMP tie. Our Mewtwo wins the CMP tie. Ice Beam gets the opposing Mewtwo down into the red. I do shoutcast on my phones. I've got no idea if the opposing Mewtwo is fully powered up. I'm guessing not, as we keep winning CMP. Side Strike does take us out. We send out Haxarous, get the counter farm down. Yveltal banks a charge route on his Haxarous and then sends out the Shark. We do shield up the resisted Meteor Mash. The opponent continuing to stay in. Yveltal over farms, fires off the Crunch. Is Crunch going to be lethal? Surely not. However, what do I know? Crunch returns Metagross to their Pokeball. The opponent's final Pokemon is Giratina. Yveltal recognises he won't make the Crunch, so throws the Poison Fang. Poison Fang does absolutely nothing but does lower Giratina's defense. We then fire off the Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe isn't lethal. Can Haxarous survive the Shadow Ball? The Breaking Swipe did lower Giratina's attack. We actually tank the Shadow Ball really easily. It's going to be a race. Haxarous wins the race to the next charge move, and Yveltal picks up a big fat dub. GG's and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see Mewtwo into Gyarados. Let's see what fast moves are on. The opponent is on Dragon Breath. Mewtwo going to be able to outpace Gyarados to the Side Strike. Yveltal fires off the Side Strike. We see Gyarados invest an early Protect Shield. We see the opponent farm up to a potential Crunch, and Yveltal also invests the Protect Shield. The opponent does fire off the Crunch. The opponent, unfortunately, get the defense drop. You hate to see it, but Mewtwo, undeterred, fires off Side Strike. Number 2, the opponent invests both Protect Shields, but Mewtwo so spammy, fires off Side Strike. Number 3, and Gyarados gets taken out. The opponent now sends out Dragonite. Mewtwo gets farmed down. Yveltal, unfortunately, has no choice but to send out Haxorus as we see him shield up the Dragon Claw. We should be able to reach the Breaking Swipe before the opponent makes the next Dragon Claw, but the opponent make a savage catch, catching the Breaking Swipe onto Metagross. How the heck do we get rid of that Dragonite? Yveltal farms up and stay in school, kids. Learn to count. Anything the opponent can do, Yveltal can also do. Sharpedo actually tanks the resisted Meteor Mash. Can Sharpedo make a charge move? No, we get Bullet Punch farmed all the way down. Back out comes Haxorus. We win the CMP tie, fire off the Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe does secure the knockout. We actually make one more Breaking Swipe against this Dragonite, but I don't think it's going to be enough to secure the knockout. Dragonite does survive, and unfortunately we get Dragon Breath farmed down. Another very well played game. Moving on to the next one. We see the battle of the shinies, shiny Shadow Mewtwo into Rayquaza. We see Yveltal invest an early Protect Shield on the Breaking Swipe. My god, look at the Dragon Tail damage. Yveltal not messing around, full sending the Ice Beam. Ice Beam goes unshielded, even debuff. The opponent gets absolutely wrecked. The opponent now send out the bulky Blue Whale Kyogre. Yveltal stays in, fires off the debuff Side Strike, and holy crap, even debuff, that does so much damage. Kyogre gets the full Waterfall farm down, the opponent farming up a boatload of energy. I'll be honest, I'm not counting. Is this a Blizzard? No, it's not. It's just a Surf. Yveltal looking for the full counter farm down. This should only be another Surf, which Haxarous will survive. We do get the full counter farm down. The opponent saving 2 shields for their own Mewtwo. We farm up, fire off the Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe forces the first Protect Shield. Yveltal already at Breaking Swipe. Number 2. The opponent invests both Protect Shields. We see the pivot into Sharpedo. Yveltal has 1 Protect Shield, 2 hide behind. We shield up the single resisted Shadow Ball. Yveltal looking to reach the crunch. We make the crunch. Is crunch going to be enough to knock out? Yes, it is. Who was worried? Sharpedo is a Mewtwo counter confirmed. Moving on to the next one. We see the Mewtwo mirror again. Both trainers farming up, looking to at least bait a Shadow Ball. Yveltal this time loses CMP. We do respect the potential Shadow Ball. The opponent full send it. Yveltal, however, going for a sneaky masturbating session. The opponent respect the Shadow Ball that we do not have, but you always got to fake it till you make it with NC the pivot into Haxarous. The opponent farm up some energy and catch the Breaking Swipe onto Dialga. A very interesting play. The counters started to chunk this giant tin can. Haxarous outpaces the Breaking Swipe. Number 2, Dialga straight in and straight out. Back out comes Mewtwo. Mewtwo opting to fire off a charge move before Haxarous reaches the next Breaking Swipe. Side Strike takes us out. We then pivot back out into our own Mewtwo, and again we get outpaced. Yveltal going to respect another Shadow Ball. The opponent is not messing around, sending nuke after nuke. Again we go for the bait. The opponent invests their final Protect Shield. As we baited with a Side Strike, we're actually going to be able to outpace the opposing Mewtwo by a single quick move to our Ice Beam. The opponent recognises that, settle for a Side Strike for some chip damage, but that just allows Yveltal to overfarm. We fire off the Ice Beam secures the knockout. The opponent's final Pokemon is Groudon. We bank the Ice Beam for the road, send out Sharpedo. The opponent going to vanquish us back to our Pokeball with the Precipice Blades. We've got the Ice Beam locked and loaded. It's going to be high Groudon, by Groudon. GG's and thanks for playing. Unfortunately, we're moving on to the final battle of the video. We lead Shadow Mewtwo into BDD, the basic bitch tin can. Yveltal farms up, fires off the Side Strike. Shadow Mewtwo can go straight Side Strike. In this match, I was 2 Side Strikes, knock out this tin can. We draw an early Protect Shield, pivot out into Haxarous. Haxarous goes straight for the Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe forces the final Protect Shield. I can't actually read the CP. As a shoutcast on my phone, the CP is tiny, but I do notice this isn't a Best Buddy Dialga, as they don't have the Best Buddy badge. But either way, we're going to call it Basic Bitch Tin Can. Yveltal gets both Protect Shields, sends out Mewtwo with a 2 to no shield advantage. Side Strike secures the knockout. The opponent send out Gyarados, then make a very nice catch of the Side Strike onto Swampert, but my god, that did a lot of damage. Swampert fires off a charge move. Yveltal now has the energy for a Side Strike. We shield up the Hydro Cannon, bank the Side Strike for the road and send out the Shark. Unfortunately, Swampert makes one final charge move, but Yveltal can shield this up. Back out comes Gyarados. We reach the Poison Fang. Poison Fang will be lowering Gyarados' attack, and then the Side Strike will be lethal. The opponent can Dragon Breath farm us all the way down, but it's not going to matter. Mewtwo has the move bank. We fire off the Side Strike, and Yveltal clutches up another very nice dub. GG's, and thanks for playing. Yveltal, I absolutely take my hat off to you. That was an incredible battle submission. I honestly thought Sharpedo would be terrible, and it wasn't actually that bad, although I do think Shadow Mewtwo stole the show. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If, like Yveltal, you'd like your battles featured on my channel, link to a battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.